everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Truck Driver's Corner. Tonight I'm going to tell you a story about me trying to sleep and where you can sleep and where you shouldn't sleep when you're on the road. Now, I'm going to tell you where I like to sleep, and you're going to say, oh man, that's kind of dangerous. But it's some of the best sleep I've ever got if you can put up with some trucks gearing up all night long, or if you can find a quiet exit. Now, I always like to try to find a quiet exit, and I always like to pull down off the interstate and go to the stop sign and then go right across to the other side. And as soon as I go across to the other side, I like to just pull off on a wide spot. And I always like to pull off as soon as I get on the on-ramp, pull off real quick, right where the turn is, because you'll encounter less gearing up whenever a big truck turns. Usually when a big truck turns, they kind of coast and they'll hit the fuel one time and they'll catch them a gear, and that's all you got to hear. But whenever you pull way down the off ramp, you always get wind shear from them, and that rock the cab, and that always kind of, I don't get as good a sleep as I do when I first pull off there as soon as you turn. And a lot of states will still let you park on an on ramp, which I used to do a lot because I'd always find I was always going to be late. I wasn't going to get enough sleep, and it was, instead of going way down and finding a place in the truck stop parking lot, I could always pull right off there and get some sleep, 3 hours, 4 hours. It seems to me like 25 years of driving, I never got more than 3 to 4 hours a night, and I could always function on 3 to 4 hours. And I would always sleep on the weekend sometime. I'd always sleep in about 8 o'clock in the morning and catch on my sleep on the weekend. But anyway, I'm going to tell you some do's and don'ts about where to sleep, where not to sleep. Where not to sleep, the industry is moving more and more away from parking on the on-ramps and off-ramps. And you can still, like I say, you can still do it in some states, but some states are frowning on it. And actually, I have actually been woke up by a highway patrolman in the middle of the night, and they've taken my license and wrote me a ticket for sleeping. Believe it or not, he actually put sleeping on the citation, and I couldn't believe that. That was Virginia. And I told the highway patrolman when he came back up there with my ticket and had sleeping on it, I told him that George Washington, he was from Virginia. I said, George Washington would be real proud of you for writing me a ticket for sleeping. And I said, what did George Washington do whenever he got tired on the trail? He plopped down and made camp right over wherever he was in. So I'd always get mad if I ever got woke up on the on-ramp. But anyway, I stopped one night in a way station. Now, used to be back in the 80s and the 90s, that was a bad place to stop, was a way station, because if you fell asleep in a way station, and a lot of states, and I know Virginia was one of them, sometimes they would wake you up and DOT you. Well, now Alabama, North Carolina, a lot of states, Kentucky, I think, will let you come in there at night. It's a safe haven, and that's good. Way stations are a good place to sleep at night. And most of the time, if you get in there when they're closed and go in there and sleep, then when you wake up in the morning and you go out, you can actually pass and not go across the scale and wave at them, and they'll let you go. I have done that many times, dozens of times. Walmart parking lot. Some Walmarts will let you sleep there, and that's pretty good. I always like to find a Walmart that there was 3 or 4 trucks there already, because it's like the old saying, there's safety in numbers, So Walmart was a good place, but now I'm starting to hear horror stories where they're waking the guys up, and I was actually in a Walmart parking lot in just below Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania one night, and I was driving for Horizon, and I was there all weekend long. I was in the parking lot all weekend long. My hours was up. I couldn't move, and I had to park at Walmart. And I remember I went into Walmart one night. And my buddies can vouch for this story. I got me some chicken wings, and from Walmart's got some good chicken wings. If you ever go in there and get these fried buffalo chicken wings, they're like huge, you know. And 3 or 4 of them will fill me up. And I went and got some of these chicken wings at Walmart. And as I went to the register to pay for them, because I always keep a cooler in the truck, I always had drinks, and I just wanted to buy these chicken wings, and they had them in a little bag, and they had the bar tab on there where they scan it and they tell you how much you're going to be charged. Somebody called in a bomb threat. So the cashier says, everybody put your stuff down on the counter here, and we got to leave the store. I said, what about these chicken wings? And she says, well, they won't be any good. You might as well just take them. So I got them for free. I was out in the parking lot. So I went out, and I was sitting in the truck, and the fire department come up there getting everybody to leave the parking lot. I said, oh my God, I know he ain't gonna ask me to leave. And I was way back there in the back, you know. I said, well, I should be okay. And sure enough, here comes the police. And I'm chewing on them chicken wings, you know, running them down. And he says, sir, we're going to have to ask you to move. I said, wait a minute. I can't go anywhere. He says, why? I said, well, I'm on a 34-hour restart, and if I break this restart, I won't have the hours I'll need during the week to run a successful week. He said, I'm sorry, you got to go. I said, well, I need your name. And I need you to sign my logbook too, where you telling me I got to go. So I got an empty logbook, and I said, just sign it right here on this first page, and I'll put an excuse on there why I had to leave. So he signed it, and I left, and I went over to Kmart right across the street. And but anyway, let's get back to where you can park and not park. Way stations are good now. If you can't find a place in the truck stop, and I'm gonna tell you about the truck stops, they're getting filled up. This new EOBR is the most illegal thing I've ever seen the trucking industry do, is enact these EOBRs and these onboard recorders. These things have got to go. I'm telling you, it's just terrible. You don't have the freedom as a trucker anymore. And I think I read somewhere this week, over the weekend, where they've gotten away from the 34-hour restart. So that's good, and I'm glad. Things might be looking up for the trucking industry, but I doubt it. But anyway, these EOBRs have got to go. We got to get the government out of trucking, and I'm firm on that. I really, I love the trucking industry, and it's all I've ever been able to do. It's the only thing I've ever stuck with. So the EOBRs, now if you're a lazy man, and if you're a creature of habits, then the EOBR is good for you. That's the only thing I see good for the industry EOBR can do, is to help out somebody who likes to sleep. Because you got to get 10 hours every night. I can't stand above 10 hours. There ain't no way. I'm going to be driving, making money. That's what I've always done. Drive till all day. Get up 6 o'clock in the morning, leave out, drive all the way to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night, where I'm drooping down. Oh no, I got to stop. And I'll stop at 2 o'clock, wake right back up at 5 or 6 o'clock, and go at it again. Just do that all week long, go home and put my money in my pocket. That's what I like to do. I mean, don't look at me like a criminal, but that's what I was used to. That's how I started out running and trucking. And when I went to work for this company, I've always talking about, I'm in the office when I first went to work for this company. I told the man, I love to run at least 3,000. Oh, what happened? Don't cut off. There we go. I told the guy I was going to go to work for. I said, Ronnie, look, I need at least 3,000, 3,500 miles a week, 600, 700, 800 miles a day. I can do that. I like doing it. He said, okay, good. He said, we're going to put you in the truck. I said, great. And after I shook hands with him and everything, he told me what the company was about, what my pay was going to be. We shook hands, and on the way out the office, I said, oh, look, I'm going to need to get a logbook. I saw a box of logbooks that he had at the door as you're going out. Had 2 or 3 boxes of them stacked up, and the top one was open. I said, I need to get a logbook. He says, take 3. I said, yes, sir. All right. We're going to get along real good. And that's just the way I've driven. And I've done that all my career, except for the last few years when I've had to run an EOBR. And after running this EOBR and taking this 30-minute break after 3 hours, that just boils my blood. It really does. And when I got to stop at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, because I can't drive no more, and the sun is still out, daylight, and I'm sitting in the parking lot thinking, man, I could be 200, 250, 300 more miles down the road. But I got to sit here and wait on that EOBR. Oh, we done got away from where you can park and where you can't park. But anyway, way stations are good. Walmarts are good. Now, if you can find a construction lot somewhere close to the interstate, sometimes you'll spot them. And all interstates, Tennessee's got these parking areas just for trucks. I don't like them. They get clammed up in there, and you hear trucks trying to squeeze through at night, and you'll hear a horn because the truck drivers get mad. I like to stay away from them parking areas. But if it's a big parking lot with painted lines and all that, those are good parking lots. Now, what rest areas, if you can find a nice, decent rest area, that's good. But most of them are always filled up by at least 9 o'clock at night. So you got to be in there before 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes you got to worry about shopping centers because sometimes the carpooling place, and this has happened to me before, me and this guy named Snail, his handle was Snail, and we drove for Builders Transport. We said, man, let's pull over at that mall and get a couple hours sleep, because we were tired. So we pulled over there in the parking lot, and we woke up in the morning. This was 4 o'clock in the morning. When we woke up about 6, 7 o'clock, these cars were parked all around us where we couldn't even hardly get out. And that was a carpool, so you gotta watch out for that. And I tell you another good place to park is at your house. If you can get a job, you go back and forth from your house every day. At home is a great place to park if you got the room. But I thought I would share that about. Oh, and a rest area one night. Do not, when somebody knocks on your door and you can't see them, don't answer it, and even start getting on the phone to the police, because I heard a knock one night and I didn't see anybody, and I kind of peeked out the curtain where they couldn't see me, and somebody was either ducked down hoping I'd open the door, but I didn't. So if you get a knock late at night and you don't see anybody, get on the 911 and call the police to the rest area, wherever you're at, because somebody is waiting for you to open that door. And don't open the door, and that'll keep you safe too. All right, come back next week. I got a story for you where I was up in Detroit, Michigan, and I was with another guy that worked for the same company, Macomb Truck, and his name was Steve Mahaffey. And I'm going to tell you about 2 loads we had to carry to Goodwill, of all places. And we had to deliver to Goodwill. We had pallet racks on. And I'm going to tell you about the guy that worked at Goodwill that pulled a box cutter on me. And I'm going to tell you what happened after he pulled a box cutter on me, and we didn't see him anymore that day. So come back next Sunday, and I'll have that story for you. Peace from Truck Driver's Corner.